Now, in your talk, you described some of the economic principles of the founding, and one of them is this, quote, government must promote widespread ownership, unquote. Isn't that what got us into the recent economic trouble and the housing crisis? Government promotion of widespread ownership. Seems like that's a potentially dangerous principle.
Sure. Many of the founding principles about how to deal with property, if taken to an extreme, can become destructive of property. What the founders thought, government should promote widespread ownership of property, but only as long as they could do that consistently with security of the individual right to own and to possess, to acquire property. So what that meant was that if the federal government owns some land, they ought to move as quickly as possible to get that land into the hands of as many private owners as possible. And so the western lands of the United States, which at that time consisted of most of the states of Ohio and Illinois and Kentucky and so on, most of that land was sold to private owners. And the result is, if you look on a map of the United States today, you'll find almost no federal ownership of any land east of the Mississippi River, because the earlier view was private individuals need to have opportunity to own and to cultivate and make use of land for their own happiness and that of their families. The new view is based on the idea that government knows better how to use property than private individuals. And so contrary to the notion of helping out the little person, government owns vast amounts of federal territory in the western states. In some states, like Nevada, as much as 90% of the land. And any private person who wants to use that land has to come begging to the government for permission. And the government will then dictate in very minute terms on to what extent he's allowed to use that land, if he's allowed to use it at all. So that's a sign of the shift. Now, you talked about